Welcome back to another amazing episode of Unlocking Tampa Bay. I'm Santiago C. Corrada, President and CEO of Visit Tampa Bay. Did you know that out of the 25,000 businesses in the city of Tampa, close to 24,000 of them are small businesses? As our Honorable Mayor Jane Castor says, these inspired entrepreneurs and their ventures are the backbone of our community. So if you're looking to support some small businesses in Tampa Bay, we've got you covered. Experience cheese like never before at Cheeseology, your go-to destination for cheese-making experiences. Explore Meacham Urban Farm for freshly grown crops and agricultural education. Discover Erica Jourdain Designs, empowering women through unique jewelry. And lastly, visit Ursula's History Shop to uncover carefully curated historical treasures of Tampa Bay's Black history. In Tampa Bay, we're more than just neighbors. We're a connected community that stands together as one. Now let's sit down with two of Tampa Bay's incredible small business owners. Take it away, Serena.
Thank you so much, Santiago. I'm Serena Fazan, and welcome to Unlocking Tampa Bay, a show sharing the city's gems. And on this episode, we are exploring the vibrant small business community where local flavors receive celebrity praise, as well as sharing some exclusive treasures to Tampa, talking to an event planner. But let's begin with those celebrity accolades. Let me introduce Wesley Roderick. Wesley, thank you so much for being here. All right. First of all, I love the name of your business. Share it.
Supernatural Food and Wine.
Supernatural Food and Wine. It sounds like something that comes from a superhero as well.
That's what we like to think of ourselves as. Yeah, definitely superheroes of the sandwich. Yeah.
Love it. Superheroes of the sandwich.
That's right. That's our motto.
Yes. Yeah. And so at the very beginning, I said, where local flavors meet celebrity praise.
Yeah.
Holy guacamole.
Yeah.
Alton Brown.
Yeah.
Very prominent television personality, visiting town, walks into your sandwich shop, and what happens?
Changes the life of the business. Yeah. We were just kind of making it at that point, and it was a new business. And he walked through, had breakfast, enjoyed it, posted it to his social media, and everything just kind of went crazy from there. So, and here we are.
And isn't that incredible? So much I need to talk to you about your sandwich shop. But Tampa is getting, this is Unlocking Tampa Bay, and we're talking about tourism and people coming and sharing this beautiful city with us. Mm-hmm. And here he is, we are getting more and more celebrities, and you've seen it. Your location is right in the heart of downtown.
Yeah. Yeah. It's great. Yeah.
Describe where your sandwich shop is and how it came to be.
Okay. Our sandwich shop is located at the intersection of Polk and Franklin. So if anybody knows where the Tampa Theater is, it's right in that vicinity. So people do have a hard time finding it sometimes. I just tell them, if you're at the Tampa Theater, just look around because we're there. Don't go further than that. We're basically right there. So,
and the Tampa Theater is such an icon here.
Such an icon, yeah, so and a great neighbor too.
Mm-hmm, so, oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
So it's right there.
Yep.
And you guys are open every day except Sunday.
Yep.
And tell us how it started. You felt like this community needed a really great sandwich.
This community needed a really great sandwich. Yeah. It actually just sort of happened. I don't know, as maybe serendipity is the right word, but it was just a situation where we were running a business in that space that we're in currently prior, that was a little bit different as a burger shop, essentially. Mm-hmm. We were trying something a little more ego driven. And, just kind of the course of things, it didn't work out exactly as we wanted it to. And we had to ultimately downsize from a health department standpoint, from a city code standpoint, into what we are now. So it needed to be something that fit into the frame of, not a ton of cooking, and just kind of like your deli format. And obviously we definitely pushed the limits of that. But the what it became is something way beyond what I initially imagined, because, Supernatural at the very beginning was me just needing to solve a problem, solve a problem, a business problem, and ultimately met a need that I don't think that I really expected. And we've been able to build an awesome community and an awesome team, and I think an awesome business from that point. So, yeah.
How many different sandwiches, or what are some of your favorite items on your menu?
So we have breakfast and lunch, and I'm very partial to our breakfast sandwich. I do not admit
I am
it.
too,
I was
actually.
okay.
It's delicious.
Yeah, it's very good. And that's just a simple combination of, well-sourced ingredients, well executed, and it's very simple. But every time I eat it, which admittedly is not as often as I think people would want to believe, but when I do, I'm like, oh no, this is delicious. Yeah. So it's it's a fun thing. It's probably my favorite thing on the menu. And, our lunch items are great. We have a really awesome Italian, great turkey sandwich. Just, again, simple stuff, but the quality of the ingredients and the products that we source, really are the best that we can within the context of, an affordable, accessible sandwich shop. And
would you say that, again, here's Alton Brown, this, I would say international known figure that is in the downtown area. Have you seen Tampa? You are from Tampa. I mean, I know you've lived internationally learning your trade, but have you seen Tampa just grow and grow and more of a walking community as where you are?
Oh yeah. It's crazy. Honestly, I mean, and I'm second generation in Tampa. My mother effectively grew up her whole life here and has worked downtown back when there were the department stores downtown. And she was, she always reflects with me on how different this area was in the 80s and the 90s, in the early 2000s. And now it's just completely different. And I see it. I mean, I take advantage of, the river walk every single day that is good weather, which is most of them.
Yes, we're so blessed to live here.
I'm out, and I'm always just I'm so taken aback and ultimately really thankful for how accessible it has become, because you see these families out there just walking, strolling, having just the quintessential beautiful day, right? And it's something that it doesn't require them buying something. It just requires appreciation for this beautiful resource that we have in the weather and in the waterways, and ultimately, what the city has done is awesome. Yeah.
And then being able to stroll into an amazing, unique sandwich shop and grabbing a bite, right?
Also, I mean, let's take it back to what really matters. It's all about the sandwiches, people. Yeah.
So, this episode is about small businesses and the vibrancy of small businesses and growing. You were 12 years old, you said.
Yeah.
And please share the story of where you thought, I might like to cook, and maybe I might want to do this in my life. 12. So what happened? You were at a farm.
Yeah. We lived in southern part of Alabama when I was younger, kind of off and on, split parents. So, it was kind of all over the place. And we were...
Speaking of chefs, you were watching.
I was watching. I was watching. I think I was.
Puck, right?
It was probably HSN, so another great Tampa business. We love them too. But was watching the Home Shopping Network, probably selling pots and pans. Who knows? And he was making a quail dish, so it was a roasted quail with an apple glaze. I remember very distinctly, because immediately it clicked in my mind, oh, we're raising quail in the barn, on the farm. And so I just asked my dad. I was like, "Hey, can we do this?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, you can definitely do that, but we're gonna have to go out and we're gonna have to slaughter these things, and it's going to be you're going to understand the whole process." And he was very adamant about us engaging with that element of and that relationship with our food. So we did. And we definitely had dinner based off of that. And I think that for me was that first moment in life where I realized that you can go from an inspiration to an idea to a final product. And that's a very exciting thing. It's something that I'm very passionate about now is seeing things come to life.
And like,
out of here, right?
yes,
Yeah.
yes. And so with that, you knew at that young age that you wanted to explore this. And then you traveled. You went, right, throughout the country and then even overseas, you said?
Yeah. I think it was a wave that kind of overtook me, to be honest. Like if I'm reflecting on it, I think I almost don't even recall how it went from that point to where I got, by the time I was leaving high school and the things that I was trying to do at that point. So, I spent all of my teenage years doing everything I could to learn about cooking, to work in restaurants and, multiple jobs, even as 16-year-old. I just didn't care about anything else. And so when I left high school, everybody else really excited about, university and all these different things. And I'm like, all I want to do is travel and cook. Like that's it. Right. Because, and even to today, if you ask me, my heart is like, man, that's it. I just want to travel because what else? Right. Like, but I can't think of anything more tantalizing as a life. Right. And so, yeah, so I took that knowledge and experience and I was able to, work my way into restaurants, basically just asking for jobs in places that I was inspired by. And that led me from, anywhere from Birmingham, Alabama to New York City, to Chicago, to Denmark, to Spain for quite a few years. And then ultimately back to Tampa Bay. Yeah.
And what a valuable lesson for so many people listening and watching on truly you're able to make, your dreams come true.
It's pretty amazing. Right?
Yes. And then sometimes you can get a little bit of a helping hand because we live in such an amazing city where you never know who could be like walking around,
So if I can get a little philosophical with you here.
Yes, sure.
So I tend to use the analogy of like pennies, right? So imagine you and I are walking down the street, right? And there's a penny on the ground. You might look at it and you're like, oh, it's just a penny. It's whatever, right? And I look at it and I'm like, oh, I need to pick that thing up, right? And the only difference between why you're motivated to or not to pick up a penny is because it carries value, right? So for you in that example, you don't need a penny. You don't see why. For me, I have a goal. I want $10,000 in my bank account and I've got $9,999.99, right? So that helps me to achieve a goal. And when I think about that in the greater scheme, everybody, every relationship, every interaction is potentially a penny, is potentially something that adds up to what, but you have to know what you're looking for in order for those resources to be meaningful. So this conversation is incredibly meaningful to me because I know where I want to be going with life, right? And it's important to you for the same reason because you know what you're trying to build. Otherwise, they're just pennies. They're just these little nonsense coins that are lying around and nonsense conversations or whatever it is. But everything can be so much more. And so to your point, Tampa at this point has so many resources in people, in businesses, in potential relationships that like it's undeniable that if somebody has an aspiration or has anything that they want to put their mind to, this is as great a place as any to begin, let alone to build and continue. So
and a great time to do it.
Yeah.
What do you see? Where do you see it going? What is your dream for your business?
That's a great question. And that's probably, if you ask me where my head is 99% of the time, it's there. I think for me, I have a big vision for my life, but I never really ask how we're going to get there. I just have a tremendous amount of faith in my capacity and my team's capacity to act genuinely and enthusiastically toward the things that we want. and know that those pennies will present themselves, right? And so as they do, to be open and mindful when they do, so that we can absorb them. I'm not. I have a tremendous amount of ambition, but I'm not one of those people that's, insisting on hammering something that's not there. Or, but I was having a lovely conversation this morning with Jordan Johnson from The Naked Farmer as an example, and he's a tremendous person, and his experience
and another
opens up my mind, right? Opens up my mind to what is possible. So all of those things. So short answer, we're digging deep right now. We're digging deep into what the brand is and what what we want to be before we expand any.
And do you feel, or don't you feel, with Tampa's ever-growing population and positive messaging globally, that especially for small business owners, this is putting you on the exact platform you need to be?
I would agree with that. Yeah, I think that it is. I think it's a great place to start. I think it's a phenomenal place to start, and I think it has all the right ingredients. You just have to know what recipe you're trying to make, right? So
love the pun. Love the pun. In closing, of course, it's very walkable where you are to get to your sandwich shop. Do you also cater?
We do cater. Yes, we do.
Yes,
Go to our website.
Yes. Believe me, I've enjoyed many of your delicious sandwiches at events for Visit Tampa Bay. So, if someone is watching and needs and needs to find you, what is the best way to find you?
Yeah, best way, honestly, Google Supernatural Food and Wine. Our website is there, and or Instagram Supernatural Food and Wine again, and connect with us in any and every way. We love meeting new people, and we also love our regulars. So, yeah.
Well, Wesley Roderick, it certainly has been a treat having you
Likewise,
on the show.
yeah.
And I will never, I don't think, pass by another penny without picking it up. Thanks
That's right.
to you.
Hey. So, thank you so much. Yeah,
Thank you.
This has been great.
And we are continuing the conversation with another amazing small business owner. At the beginning of the show, I promised to share her exclusive brand. Please welcome Erica Jourdain with Flower Me Tampa Decor and Rental.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Oh my gosh, Erica, thank you so much for being here.
Yes.
All right, so we were talking, you create the most amazing bloom boards.
Yes.
And you just did one, speaking
I
of
did.
celebrities,
Yes.
using Taylor Swift.
I did. It was for a little girl's 6th birthday party, and her theme for her party was Taylor Swift. And so I thought about it, and I go, what can I do that's going to be very unique and very special for her, because she's such a Swiftie.
Oh,
And I saw the Eras poster, and I thought, I can make that. And so I did. So I took all of the pictures of the little girl over the years, 6 years of her, and I created that into the bloom board. And so the bloom board looks exactly like the Taylor Swift Eras posters.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your bloom boards and your business.
Sure.
You said you have searched wide and you have not found any other business that does what you do.
Nope, you can only get this here in Tampa Bay. So the bloom boards, it came out of the idea of trying to recreate something I did for my sister-in-law's wedding back in 2020. And I made these ginormous 8-foot by 4-foot signature letters for her initials to go behind the pool area. And after that, I just kept thinking, I need to scale that down and do something a little different, because 8 feet by 4 feet is pretty big, right? So
yeah, maybe just a little bit.
Just a little bit. So I was like, what can I do to add more color, to make it more personalized? And so it took me about, it was a partner of mine and it took us probably about 3 or 4 months to figure out how to scale that down and customize it. And then over the years, what I've done is I've perfected it. And so no one else here in Tampa Bay creates bloom boards. So I can take any letter, any logo, anything that you can think of, and I can create that image into a flower board.
which is incredible. And this is a part of your business.
It is.
You are an event planner,
I am.
and the bloom boards, it just what an edge.
Yes.
Right.
Right.
But going back to that wedding that you
Yes.
did for your sister-in-law, it was during COVID.
It was.
And her wedding
was.
was supposed to be at a beautiful hotel at the beach.
Yes.
And she
And
had to pivot.
I was very excited because this was the first family event. I was like, oh, I can just go and enjoy myself and sit back and relax and have a great time. And then COVID happened. And I will tell you, when I married her brother, my husband, we've been married for 25 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It was very important to me to have a beautiful wedding. And at the time, my father-in-law was still alive. And my father-in-law and my mother-in-law gave me the most beautiful wedding you ever see. And it was everything that I wanted. So my father-in-law is no longer here. And so when my sister-in-law was getting married, I went, oh, she'll have the wedding of her dreams if it's the last thing I do. And so that was my goal. And that's what I gave her.
Well, may he rest in peace,
Yeah,
too. And that, I bring up that story because, and of course you would do it with your heart and your soul, and you're such a giving person. But here's your husband that says to you, honey, that was beautiful. That was magnificent. But guess what?
Yeah.
You're never doing this for free again.
Never.
Right?
Yes,
he
did. He did. Because, and I knew I could get away with a lot for the wedding because it was his sister, of course. So I kind of pushed the envelope here and there. And he's like, okay. But at the end, when he stepped back and looked at it, he's like, you're not giving this away anymore. You've got to do something with this. And so I did. And that's kind of how Flower Me Tampa came to be.
Isn't that something, though?
It is.
So, okay,
It
so, and there's so many wonderful, unique parts of Flower Me Tampa. Like you share that typically, unless it's for Molly here, who is so essential to the Unlocking Tampa Bay show, typically it's for 100 people or less.
100 or less.
I mentioned Molly because you did something for Visit Tampa Bay. 500 plus.
It was 500 people. And I was like, what? But it was great. It turned out beautiful. We had a great time. Everything worked beautifully. But typically, my sweet spot is that 100, 125 people. That's my sweet spot. I enjoy doing micro weddings. So if you have a smaller venue, a smaller group of people, because I'm going to be able to then touch every aspect of that wedding or touch every aspect of that event. So I'll do graduation parties. I'll do office parties. I do a lot of Christmas parties for offices, which are great because it's usually for the smaller offices. So 100 or less, 125 is kind of like my sweet spot, which I think differentiates me from other event planners because typically they don't have a number size on the number of people that are participating or going to be gathering for the event. And I absolutely do. So
in all these unique aspects of yourself, including the name and the boards, the blossom boards, that is, isn't it something you just never know how something or an idea can stick?
Yes.
Share with us how your best friend and her mom were so essential to this.
So Eileen is my best friend. We've been friends for over 20 years. And I was visiting her girls' trip. And we were going to drive back to Pittsburgh to visit her mom, have dinner with her mom. And on the drive, I was like, I have this idea. I'm creating these boards. I'm like, but I don't have a name for them. So on this drive, we're writing down just different words that we liked because I needed it to be quick, catchy, and memorable.
Yes.
That's what I needed, right? So we're writing down all these names. So we get there to her mom's house. I'm very excited to see her. I'm just like, it's so great to see you. And she's like, oh, what are you guys doing? I'm like, we're trying to come up with a name for these boards. And without skipping a beat, without stopping what she was doing, she looked and goes, it's a bloom board. And we both went.
Just like a reaction just now on the show.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. And so I immediately grabbed my laptop. I Googled bloom board. I'm like, what is that term associated with? And it was not associated with anything related to what I was doing. So I immediately went and I bought the name, bought the domain. I bought all the things bloom board. And so that's how bloom boards came to be. And so I laughed because it didn't take her an instant to come up with that name, and we were driving for 2 hours and couldn't figure that out. So,
but isn't that something? So she comes
Yes.
up with a name. You
Yeah.
research it.
Yep.
Now you have captured the name.
Yes.
You are seeing your business thrive.
Yes.
And this is, this show, this particular episode is dedicated to vibrant small businesses growing in this area. You being one.
Yeah.
Can you share your experience with that? I mean, you've lived in Tampa for quite a while now.
Yes.
What are your thoughts?
So what I love about being in Tampa is the diversity. I don't know what type of event I'm going to be called upon to do. Whenever I have a new client, it's always someone different and new. Tampa has given me that opportunity to share my gift and my talents across all multicultural spectrums. And so I appreciate that. And Tampa has that to offer. And I don't think you find that uniqueness in other cities. And if you, I'm partnered with Visit Tampa Bay, for example, and they've given me the opportunity to participate in many networking events, many luncheons. They bring all these multicultural events to the Tampa Bay area. And in doing that, they use their partners to say, what can you do or what can you provide to this event? And which allows us to showcase our business, which allows us to grow our business. So I really do appreciate that about the Visit Tampa Bay partnership I have and just about being in Tampa Bay.
And, I wanted to talk to you about that partnership because wherever I go, I encourage people also to be partners. It's a unique program that's not costly at all.
No.
And you can 100% say not only have you received business through the program, but also Visit Tampa Bay is so great by using their partners. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, they do. So I've done several events for Visit Tampa Bay, and they've all been very successful, beautiful events. And that's because of that partnership. But, what I really want to say is as a small business, I don't really have a marketing budget because I'm a small business, right? And so the little marketing budget I do have, I have to be very strategic and purposeful what I'm going to use those funds for. With Visit Tampa Bay, by participating in their networking events and going to their different things that they offer for their partners, it allows you to market your business. So that little nominal fee that you pay every year really benefits you if you participate in all of the things that they offer, because you cannot, on a small business budget, I would not be able to afford to put my business out there like I do when I go to these events that are hosted by Visit Tampa Bay.
And, and I'm not just saying this, but isn't it incredible how Tampa is too? We're breaking records. I mean, Forbes magazine just recently said that we're number 2, I believe, for small business growth.
Yes.
How do you feel that resonates globally?
Yeah, so I think that and I was at a networking event in Santiago, was talking about being in Chicago on the L and having the Visit Tampa Bay being train wrapped. And you see everywhere you go, and it doesn't matter if you're in Chicago, Philadelphia, New York, London, you're going to see something about Visit Tampa Bay. And it becomes this, wow, I want to go to Tampa and see what they have to offer. And as far as being a small business, one of the things I found out that having this partnership will do, if you are coming from another state and you want to start a business here in Tampa, Visit Tampa Bay partnership is where you should start, because they have access and they can get you in contact with everyone that you need in order to get any kind of leasing that you need, any kind of permits that you may need. All of that, they have that information readily available for you. So if you are from Chicago and you want to come down and you want to start a business, it's very difficult to do that because you need to lay that foundation. Well, having this partnership, the foundation is there.
And so they help you do it.
They help you through the entire process. So it's fantastic.
So as a small business, have you, we have seen, as we've talked about, such growth.
Yes.
Are you getting more and more clients that are out of state?
I'm getting more clients that are out of state. I've done many many beach weddings, lots of sand, but lots and lots of sand, lots of sand. But they'll come in and they are from, up north or the northerners, and they want to have a beach wedding. Well, they don't know event planners. They don't know where to get, catering. They don't know where to get all of these pieces they need for this event that they want to put on. So partnering again with Visit Tampa Bay allows them to go to one place and have access to all of the different type of vendors that they would need to do this. So yes, I get a lot of out-of-state business through that.
So what is I know you do all sorts of events, from weddings, birthday parties, graduations,
anniversary parties, you name it.
You name it, you've got it, right?
Yes, yes.
So where would you, in your dream world, where would you like to see your business go? Would you like to franchise? What's your dream?
So two-part answer, if you don't mind. So
at all.
I have two boys.
Uh-huh.
I don't have girls. So the boys aren't that thrilled with the flowers. They don't think, they're just like, well, they're flowers. But so what I've done is I've grown the rental aspect of the business. So I would like to continue to grow the rental side of my business. So, if you need decor for a table, or if you need decor for a wedding or an office party, or maybe an open house that you're doing for your business, I would like for you to call me and let me rent you those things that you need to take that event to that next level. So that's how I would like to see the business grow. And then I think my boys would be a little bit more interested in participating. But right now I just have them putting bloom boards together. So
and let's go back to those bloom boards, because the bloom boards, you predominantly work out of your home.
I do.
But you have recreated your home.
I did.
To
accommodate the bloom boards.
Accommodate the bloom boards.
Yes.
Accommodate the bloom boards.
Yes.
That idea has taken off so significantly. Now, these are, and the flowers, they're not fresh flowers.
They are not fresh flowers, no.
So will you explain that concept or the aspect so people really understand?
Sure. So what I love about it is when people see my bloom boards, the first thing they want to do is touch them. And I welcome them to touch them because they think they're real. But they are all silk artificial flowers that I use. And everything that I use when I create a bloom board is recyclable. So the bloom boards are rental only. You can rent them for an event, or you could rent them for an entire event. So when I do certain Visit Tampa Bay events, usually they're over 4 or 5 days. So the bloom board will stay there the entire time. So that is an option as well. But creating those bloom boards, so I had a game room for my boys in our home. And as they got older, they kind of got away from that game room. And I just looked at the room and went, I know exactly what I can do with this room. So I turned that into my garden studio. So I call it the garden studio. And so that's where I put all the bloom boards together. So I will go to my storage unit, get all of my materials, and then I go into my home and I put them all together there. So yeah.
It sounds so much fun so amazing.
Yeah.
What is the best way to reach you, and how much notice would you prefer to put together an event?
So that's a great question, and thank you so much for asking. Typically, I like 3 weeks. Because they are all custom bloom boards. So everything that you're seeing, that creating process, is sometimes me putting a bloom board together, stepping back, looking at it, and taking it apart again and starting all over, because I don't like it, or it doesn't look the way I need it to look to represent that logo or that whatever I'm creating. So 3 weeks notice is like a fair time frame for me to work on that. And the best way to reach me is at my Instagram at Flower Me Tampa is the best way to reach me.
And I was going to tell the viewers and the listeners, I would encourage them to go to your Instagram to be able to see some of these amazing, unique treasures that are exclusive
to Tampa Bay.
Well, you certainly, Erica Jourdain, are a Tampa treasure, and we so appreciate you coming on the show. And I would say to the viewers and listeners out there, we heard about partnership. There are so many, honestly, so many wonderful examples, and we are so proud to spread this positive message globally. So to learn more about partnership or learn more about the gems of Tampa Bay, please head to visitTampaBay.com. On behalf of President and CEO Santiago Carrata, I'm Serena Fazan. This is Unlocking Tampa Bay. Until next time.